One of the few times the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party have agreed on anything was when the two, or the Akufo-Addo government, decided to honor a manifesto promise of creating new regions. Indeed, both party officials were on the grounds campaigning for a split of the old regions as we have them. My guest today on Face to Face headed one of the new regions and will be testing the success or otherwise of the creation of new regions. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado, and you're welcome to Face to Face. Solomon Namlit Boar was Member of Parliament for Bunkrugu on the NPP's ticket. He served for 2 terms, and during that time, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo became the president of the land. A new region was created, and he was Deputy Northern Regional Minister and was promoted to be Northeast Regional Minister. He's my guest on Face to Face. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, by the grace of God. I'm very happy and taking a very deep rest.
Unfortunately for you, I have to refer to you as a former MP for Bunkrugu.
Yeah, that's fine.
How is it like? Do you feel like you've retired, or you feel like you're on leave? What's the feeling like?
Well, I don't want to. There's nothing like retirement in politics.
You can't retire?
Not at all. I cannot be on retirement, especially when even if my government, my party were not to be in power, I wouldn't still be on retirement. Mm-hmm. Not to talk of the fact that by the grace of the Almighty God, the hard-working His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo is still in the driving seat. So I'm not on retirement. We are around 24/7 to make sure that all the propaganda about the governance of this country and His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we're able to tell Ghanaians the truth. You know that as he struggles or he works hard to make sure that he puts smiles on the faces of people. The detractors are all over, also trying to do their own thing. Make sure that when he pushes out a very good idea that will inure to the benefit of this country, then they come out with something. So we have to remain the citizens that we are, to let people understand that, yes, one of the leaders we've had for this country that is really pushing the agenda of the nation's development is His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So we are on.
I see. We'll talk more about the politics and your constituency and your plans as a politician, but you are, in your private life, a development worker.
Yeah, sure.
That's what you do.
Sure.
What does that involve?
Before I even come to that, most people don't also know that I'm a professional teacher.
Oh, you're a teacher?
Oh, yes. I have taught in the basic school. I've taught at the secondary school level, and from there I moved into the development work. Before I joined politics, I was into non-governmental organization work. My last place was New Energy, a local non-governmental organization that had funding from USAID, UNDP, Water Aid Ghana, UK, SMABI in the Netherlands. So I was privileged to be the finance and administrative manager for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, before I called it quit and went into politics.
You are a
then
teacher. You a training college teacher or a university teacher?
A training college teacher.
Okay.
But after the university, I also taught for a while. You know, when I finished secondary school, I decided to go to training college, especially knowing my background that if I go to college, I can still continue with my education whilst I cannot a living for myself, this daily live and all not. And by the grace of the Almighty God, God made it to happen. So from there, before I went to the university. So it's been good for me, and as a development worker,
there are people who believe that teaching, for many people, it's out of necessity, not because they love the job. So we end up having teachers who are grudgingly in the classroom, and that does not augur well for education. What do you think of that?
I think that's completely a misplaced statement.
And that people go to training college because there's an allowance.
That's completely a misplaced statement. One, I can tell you that my 6 years as a teacher was so fulfilling. But naturally, human beings as we are, you cannot just glue yourself to one point when you have, when you know and you feel that indeed God has given you a lot of talents to be able to also help contribute to the development of this country. I will really, I doubt the number of people who would have, or those who want to see themselves as teachers, will say that, oh, I'm going to the teaching profession because I have nothing to do. I can tell you that it is a platform that really puts a lot of people in the right shape of mind to be able to contribute to the development of this country. And I love it so much. And once a teacher, always a teacher. Because for the 6 years that I taught, today, anywhere I go, I have a lot of my students as medical officers.
Okay.
I have a lot of them as army generals. I have a lot of them in various fields of work.
And that satisfies you?
It satisfies me. So I met one of them in Techimai. It was so, I was so humbled. I was just walking and somebody tapped me at the band at 10. Who is this? He said, sir, good morning. I said, good morning. Who is this? I said, I know you wouldn't make me ask. I said, why? What is it? He said, oh, I'm Yima. I said, Yima from where? Oh, you taught me at Nyoni Presby Junior High School. So when I saw you from far, I just decided to come and say hi. When he was leaving, lo and behold, he went to my driver and gave him an envelope that, please, give this to Honorable to put fuel in his car.
Wow.
I was so humbled.
Wow.
When I opened...
And this was you as a politician?
Yes! That was me as a politician.
And you opened it, how much was in there?
I don't want to do, but it was very handsome.
I mean, for a politician, handsome would mean that's a lot of money.
Oh, yes. He really surprised me a lot. Wow. Because it was a check. I'm sure he just saw me and with the God touch, he said that. And this is about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And he could give me that amount of money to buy fuel.
What was he doing?
He's a medical doctor.
Oh, okay.
He's a medical doctor. He said, no, it's so nice really seeing you.
So for you, teaching is fulfilling. It's not necessarily because people think when they go, it's a stepping stone. But people still run away from the classroom. People don't like to be posted. If it was really their love, they wouldn't stay there.
Well, as I indicated earlier on, in life generally, that is what I believe. That if you see somebody moving from one place to the other, it tells you that the Almighty God has imbibed in him a lot of talents that he wants to develop to be able to contribute to the development of this country or brighten the corner where he finds himself. So I want to continue to urge every Tom, Dick, and Harry in this country to be proud of teachers. You and I are here today and talking about the development of this country because we were taught by teachers.
And I celebrate my teacher. You were a development worker, or you are a development worker. Developing the northern part of the country has been a problem from pre-colonial days. What is the problem with developing the north to catch up with the south of Ghana?
Well, I think that's a very important and very reflective question. And I recall a year or two ago, there was a very important program in Tamale where I had the privilege of being one of the main, one of the guests for that program. And I did indicate that even we as Northerners, when we are privileged to find ourselves getting what you can call wealth, it's important that we even go back to the north to invest in the north. That is very, very important. And you also know very well that the southern sector, education started in the south 100 years before it got to the north. If you are not aware, let me let you know today. I'm sure as an astute journalist, you know it better than I do because you do a lot of research. So certainly, over time, it affected the north somehow, because whether we like it or not, as for education, is the bedrock of every human endeavor. So for the north to really catch up with the rest of the country, I will continue to be one of the proponents that will continue to challenge every Northerner, that is, whether within or without, to go back in the first place, to open up the place, those who have the capability. Because the potential is there. The potential is out there. If you get to Tamale today, the capital of Northern region, and you see the businesses that are springing up, you will know that there is future for the North. If you go to Wa today and you see the businesses that are springing up, that's Upper West, you will know that there's future for the North. Even this embryonic region, this Northeast, that was carved out of Northern region because of the substantial demand. People, the chiefs and people realized that no, in order to be able to catch up with the current Northern region, it's important that we have our own region.
But there have been deliberate policies. So there was this scholarship for people in the northern part of the country, and there are so many development NGOs in the northern part of the country, and yet the developmental gap keeps widening.
Omaro, developing a place is not just about having so many NGOs. There must be an aggressive policy to industrialize the North. And that is exactly what His Excellency, the President, is doing. And that is something that we should really clap our hands for.
I mean, from over the decades, is it that the the national government, we are not running a federal system, but is it that we concentrate so much on the national government to support the North, and that's why there's a problem? Is it that the northern part of the country does not have the requisite resources to self-develop? Do you have any idea where the problem can be, whose doorstep the problem can be laid at? The challenges of the North cannot just be traced to one particular individual or entity or organization for that matter. All of us have a role to play. And as I indicated earlier on, if you go to the Western world today, I have had the privilege of visiting one or two developed countries, and I know the number of Northerners who have the capacity to be able to come and set up industries. Even in Accra, I know the number of Northerners who have the capacity to go back there and invest. All you need to do is to just take the needed risk, because the market is there. For me, I all my life, I would say that from a very young adult age to this, to where I am today, the potential about North, there's nothing that you will do in the North that you won't get the desired dividends. But it appears in the past, people have just made up their mind that before I can make it, then everything might be centered in Accra, in Kumasi, and for that matter in Tekrad. So it is time, especially for Northerners, those who are capable, for governments of the day to partner with you, the media. And I also want to challenge you, the media, to give it the best of attention in terms of how we can carry the North along, to be able to get closer. And you know very well that certainly it has started. If you look at the number of industries that are gradually springing up in the North through the President's initiative, if we can sustain this for the next 20 years, Omaro, markets on the world, the North will be the center of attraction for the development of this country. And the Kaya will stop coming from Wale.
Exactly. The Kaya will certainly stop coming from here. As I've talked to you now, I'm sure we'll get them. If you go to Wale today, anytime I'm passing to my constituency and I look at the watermelon factory that is just coming up, I keep asking myself the number of young ones that it is going to engage, both direct and indirect, because watermelon farming will become so attractive to the extent that nobody will want to come to Mokula and be sweating everywhere, and they are pushing you here and there with your basin or bucket or what have you that you want to carry somebody's luggage just for a pittance. So it's something that nobody is really happy about, and we think that if we can continue with this type of development trajectory coming from the government of the day, it's really
there may be progress.
There will be progress.
But we've been seeing several attempts at the national level. So there was the Savannah Development Authority. Now Akufo-Addo's government has the Northern Development Authority. All these are supposed to help support the people, but there are views that suggest that the same Northerners who have been put in charge of developing the North are undermining the North. So they undermine these very institutions, and you never develop. Do you think developing the North lies in creating an authority targeted at the North?
Well, it could be one of those, but that is not enough. It could just be one of those tools that can help really propel the development of the North to the next level, but that is certainly not enough. Because as I speak today, Northern Development Authority is not the only authority we have in this country. We have the Middle Belt Development Authority, the Coastal Belt Development Authority, and what have you. So that tells you that that alone is not enough. It's just for us to change our mindset about the North. Investors especially must come to the realization that there is no way by which you can put your resources in setting up an industry or a factory in the North that you will regret tomorrow. That is all about it. It's just about the mindset. And we need to really move from that point to a level where, yes, everybody can say that indeed the North, people have, those who have what it takes to develop this country, knowing very well that Northern Ghana is a microcosm of the larger society called Ghana. That if we develop all the other places without the North, we have seen not gone anywhere.
The factors that would drive development would include resources, maybe electricity supply or power, and all of this. We have power supply, we have resources, we have people who are from the North who are wealthy. Could it be the conflicts? And even that one have been generally solved.
But I think that this issue of conflict and development has also been exaggerated up to a point. And that is something that some of us who have been at the helm of affairs in the North have been worried about. It's been exaggerated because if it's about chieftaincy conflict, you know that you find it everywhere in this country. And like you rightly put, recently when you are talking about chieftaincy conflicts in the North, we have been able to really reduce it to its barest minimum, especially scaling through the funerals of the late Yanas that has put the bond together, because you cannot talk about the North without letting people know that one of the major tribes in Northern Ghana are the Dagombes. So Dagbon today is a very peaceful place, very hardworking people, very intelligent people, very resourceful people. And as I talk to you now, get back to the North and you see how the place has started, especially in the last 2 years. People are very happy that the place is very peaceful now, and a lot of things are springing up. And that's why I was telling you earlier on that give the North 10 to 20 years and you will be very happy.
That's too much time.
But that is the reality. Well, that is my assessment. It is personal. Somebody can say 5 years. Somebody can say 10 years. But you know very well that, for example,
so it will take it 20 years in your estimation to get to the level of Accra or Kumasi?
I want to believe that 20 years is not too much.
To get to the level of Accra or Kumasi?
Yes, Kumasi, or to get to the level of Accra, because we need so many industries. And you know that, you know what it means to really put up a factory that you can before you can say that this factory has blossomed to a level that indeed it can employ 40, 50, 100, 300 people. It's not just a one-day job. Even setting up a factory, and that's the more reason why we kept telling Ghanaians that when the president said 1 district, 1 factory, he just didn't say that he was going to use 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to put up all the factories. It's a process, and certainly it has started. And now I'm beginning to really feel very happy as a Northerner, and for that matter, a Ghanaian, that indeed things are really taking shape everywhere you go in this country. It's dotted all over, and certainly a day will come when you are talking of the country called Ghana. It will be very difficult for you to say that these people, this is where they are, this is where they are. Because if you go to a place like Malaysia, that is now on the tongue of everybody, when they are talking of Malaysia, they are not just talking of a particular portion of Malaysia. They are talking of Malaysia in total. And that is how we should be looking at it.
It has to be uniform.
Yeah, it has to be uniform. We have to be talking of the country called Ghana.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sanda, and my guest is a former Northeast Regional Minister. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo gave him the job to lead in the developmental agenda of that particular area. I will ask him when I come back how he fared doing that and why he crashed out of Parliament in Bunkpurugu. Don't worry.
This is Fact Finder from the BBC.
We live in a world where news travels fast, and sometimes it's hard to differentiate fact from fiction. Fact Finder brings fact-checking from the newsroom up close so you can separate truth from chaff. Be empowered to tell what's fake from what's real. Watch Fact Finder by the BBC on City TV every Wednesday at 6 p.m. City TV. It's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. My guest is a former minister in charge of the Northeast region. Tell us, 6 regions were created. Why were they necessary, really?
Yeah, as I indicated earlier on, this was an initiative of the chiefs and people of the areas that were affected. But you also do know very well that during the campaign leading up to the election of 2016, the 2 major political parties had indicated that there was the need for the creation of new regions. So it was common knowledge. So there was no ambiguity about it, because in their various rounds, the chiefs and people had made so much noise that there was a need for the creation of new regions. And when His Excellency, the President, received petitions from the various enclaves that these regions have now been created, a committee had to be set. And as part of their rounds, they confirmed that there was a need for the creation of the regions because of the fact that some parts of the regions, before you even get the development, was lacking completely, even though there's this general belief that the north is really a bit away in terms of development when you compare it to the southern sector. But you go to the north, other places are equally more hard hit. So that was what gave rise to the creation of the regions. And if you talk of Northeast, for example, when I was the Deputy Regional Minister
for Northern
Region, it was actually very cumbersome if you have to visit every district, even within a month, in addition to your office work. So it just came in a very timeous manner that yes, the President accepted the recommendations of the committee that was formed, and these regions were created.
These regions that were created, we are told it was for development, but for critics and cynics, it's like you are creating new geographical areas to satisfy ethnic groups.
And Umaru, people will always say those things.
Because you split the northern region, you gave the Savannah to the Gonjas, you gave the northeast to the Mamprusis, and you left northern for the Dagumbes.
completely wrong.
It's wrong?
Completely wrong.
Tell me more.
If you go to Northeast, Northeast is made up of different ethnic groupings. In Northeast, you can find the Mamprusis. That's the majority tribe. You can find the Bimobes, where I come from. You can find the Kunkumbes. You can find the Anufos, also known as the Chekosis. You can find the Talansis. You can find
the Talansis of Upper East. The Talansis and Casinas of Upper East are in Northeast.
We have a few of them.
Okay.
Different groupings. Okay. We can find the Templules. In fact, there are many and varied. If you go to northern region, the current northern region, the current region is not just the Gombes alone. You have the Nanumbes, you have the Kunkumbes, you have the Dagombes, and you have other ethnic groupings. So we say Mamprugu. We don't say Mamprusis. Mamprugu is made of different ethnic groupings. If you go to the Gonjala, it is the same. So are you saying that for Ashanti region, for example, Ashanti region, that does that mean that it was created to satisfy the Ashantis? Certainly no. So for those who are always mischievous and they want to play to the gallery, they will always say that. But I don't think that was the intention. The intention was just to ensure that we bring governance closer to the people. And as I talk to you today, it gladdens my heart anytime at all I find myself in Northeast and what is happening over there.
Tell me how you brought the national government close to the people by being a regional minister for a new region that was created. How have they benefited? You served as a regional minister for 2 years.
Yes. So
it's still a new ministry. It's still a new region.
It's a nascent region. Yes, it's a nascent region, no doubt about it. One of the things that I really felt good was anytime I entered to greet my father, the Nairi. And he said, "Oh, my son, so I will never go back to it. I will never go to Tamale for Regional House of Chiefs meeting. This alone, is so nice. Because he's the president of the Northeast Regional House of Chiefs. That a 5 minutes drive to the RCC or where they have their meetings. That alone was enough or is enough for everybody to know at long last we are now on our own. And for that matter, let's begin to think of how we can carry our own destiny into our own hands. Amidst the many and varied developmental projects that have been initiated, I'm sure once upon a time, if it was one region, people will have to sit in Tamale and decide that, let's send this road, let's identify that this road will have to be constructed, this road will have to be constructed. But you go to Northeast today, we sat at the Regional Coordinating Council
in
Nalerugu, and His Excellency the President said, please, I have support for every region to open up the place. And for that matter, give me the number of roads that you consider as very critical for us to tackle it head on. Today, go to Northeast, from Nalerugu to Bunkrugu, where I come from. Go and see the sort of, in fact, it used not to, I don't know whether to even call it a road. It used to be a saddle.
It was a gravel path.
It was a gravel path.
Has that been tarred? The last time I used it, I had to go with a motorbike. It was difficult to even go with a car.
Today, as I talk to you, City Construction Limited, they have a project of, I don't recall, but it's over 168 million Ghana cedi project from Nalerugu to Bunkrugu. That they are very aggressive on it, and by the grace of the Almighty God, by April 2024, the road will be tarred throughout. You get to Nalerugu Bentry Road, an area that in fact that's what used to be the cry of the people. Marpuma is on that road. Go and look at how aggressive the contractor is on that road, trying to make sure that within the shortest possible time, as far as the contract agreement is concerned, they will be completing that road. Because Nalerugu to Bentry is another commercial hub for Northeast region. You go to Wulugu Pasenkwe Road. you will go and see the sort of, in fact, that road, when it's completed, is going to link northeast to upper west. So that when you want to go to upper west, you don't pass through Damango or Borga. You just, from northeast, you just cut across Wulugu, and within the next 2 hours, you are in upper west region. These are major roads that, since independence, the chiefs and people of the area have been crying and crying and crying for assistance or for attention. Today, it's under construction.
But they are still under construction. They would have been under construction under the northern region, wouldn't they? Because if you had said they were completed and now first-class roads, then we would say, yeah, it's great. But if it's still the same gravel path, you still drive on it, you have to go to the washing bay.
How do you just get up one day?
It's still dusty.
How do you get up one day? A road, in terms of kilometers, these days, people, in terms of kilometer reading, from Nalelgo to Bunkugu, you can talk of hundreds of, tens and tens of kilometers. Then you want the contractor to use 1 day, 1 year to finish that, and you want him to do quality work. It's not possible. This is something that never received attention. And that's why I keep telling the people of the Northeast region that, for me, somehow we didn't get it right. And, it is not all the time that democratic decisions are very fair. Otherwise, whoever thought that His Excellency, the former president, would have gotten up to even 47%. People thought that this man will get not less than 44%, maybe around 43, 44% of the votes. But what happened? Because if you look at the sacrifices that His Excellency, the president, made between 2016 and 2020, the sort of huge monumental, in fact, you can call it monumental projects that are everywhere dotted. People close their eyes and they see went and voted in a particular direction. So I keep telling my people that I still think that, for me, what is happening in Northeast is equally happening in all the other regions, and we think that His Excellency, the president, deserved better than what he should have gotten. Because
so you've mentioned roads that have been done. Tell us about other sectors. How useful has a new regime been to the people in other sectors, so in health, in education? Has anything monumental happened because you have a new region? Do you even have a regional coordinating council office properly?
Oh, my goodness. You only need to, one day you just have to do city...
Eyewitness news.
Eyewitness news. In fact, your media house a favor by just traveling up there, and then you come and tell a better story than I'm telling you. You go there today. The secondary schools that we have, before I left as regional minister, most of them had moved from the double track system to the single track because of the number of educational infrastructure that have been put up in the various secondary schools. The Nalego Secondary School is now a single track. That's secondary school. Kambaga Girls is a single track secondary school. Bunkrugu Secondary School, I think they are almost done. I want to believe that within the next 2 or so months, they will also go single track. And the other secondary schools, when I'm talking of educational infrastructure, and what gave rise to the institution of this double track was because of inadequate infrastructure. You know it better than I do. Today, gradually, is becoming a thing of the past. In the area of health, as we talk.
Before I go to health, what key things did you do in education? Did you build new classroom blocks, or you built new schools?
We put up
or you completed John Mahama's E-blocks?
Oh, no.
And you're taking credit for them?
No. John Mahama, I don't think John Mahama had any C-block in this region.
There was no E-block?
I don't think he had any C. Is this one in around Tuna that they didn't start it very well? In fact, when they tell you, when you go and you look at where the secondary school was sited, and you expect people to walk for over 50 kilometers, you call it day school, 50 kilometers before they can get to school.
You're expanding the townships.
It was not, the siting was is something that I think that they could have brought it closer. But I am sure that within the government of the day certainly has in mind to also complete that, to add it to the many and varied
so if you say you didn't
that is ongoing.
What did you do? Did you build boarding houses?
If you go to Nalego Secondary School now, a lot of dormitory blocks, about 2 major dormitory blocks that can house up to 200 students were completed before I left the place. If it's about classroom, go and look at the so many classrooms that we put up over there and the furniture. If you go to Bumprugu Secondary School today, I've been telling them, and I continue to tell them that there was a day, and I said, what is the difference between Bumprugu Senior High School in terms of the many and varied infrastructure that we have as against Presec in Accra? Those who know Presec, I say, just let's be very honest with ourselves.
You've gotten to that level, you think?
My goodness. The only difference you can find is that when you get to the secondary school, the roads are not tarred. Within the secondary school. But if you go to a place like Presec, the roads, and it's a matter of time. But I can tell you that anybody that is fair, that will speak the truth, will tell you that indeed Bumprugu Secondary Technical is a place that you will want your child to go.
What improved in the health sector?
In the health sector, as we speak, we are putting up a regional hospital.
Where?
In Nalego. That's the regional capital. We are also putting up, if I say Nalego, the whole of that stretch from Nalego to Kambaga, because the regional capital is Nalego, the whole of that stretch. If you go to Bumprugu today, Bumprugu used not to have a district hospital. The contract has been awarded. I want to believe that by now, within the next 1 or 2 months, they will start construction. If you go to UU, another district hospital is going to be constructed. If you go to Yaraba Kubore, the sports minister's constituency, another one is under construction. You go to Sheponi, another one is under construction. These are the 4 districts without district hospitals.
And you are fixing those.
And we are fixing.
Let's talk about water, because water and health would go hand in hand.
Yes.
What's the water situation in the entire region? And then we can.
I recall I had the opportunity to listen to the current MP for Bumprugu.
Yes, your successor. He said you don't have water.
Who said that there was no water, and then I was just laughing. I said, well...
He said he drinks pure water.
And I laughed. I said, water will not... Suddenly, if you get the opportunity, if there's opportunity for every house to have a mechanized borehole, it will be done. But as I talked to you today, water, the water challenge has really been reduced to the barest minimum. For example, let me start with my constituency. As a member of parliament, one of the things that I did was to, because of my development experience and expertise, I linked up with non-governmental organizations. Then I was able to partner them. We call it matching fund. My common fund, everything went into it. From 2013 to 2016, I drilled 145 boreholes. Across my constituency. 145 boreholes.
But this was you as the MP, not the regional coordinating council.
When you get to the region today, as we speak, Nalego, before I left, the president came and commissioned the Nalego town water system. All over, everywhere now, the issue of water is a thing of the past. Water challenge is a thing of the past. If you go to Gambaga, yes, and you can do your cross-checking. This is a very reputable media house. I can't sit here and throw out lies when I know it's not.
And this water system, is it from boreholes, from a river?
No, yeah. What happened was they drilled a borehole that the water table is so good enough.
So it was servicing so many.
In fact, about 3 or 4, and then they piped it.
Okay.
The whole town, everywhere. If you go to Gambaga, it is the same. You go to Walwali, the same thing has happened all over Walwali town. If you go to Sherponi, it is the same. I must say that the Canadian High Commission in 2014 did that for Bumprugu Township. So as we speak today, Bumprugu Township, to the issue of water is not a problem. You can say that, yes, there are some areas. I know the demand for water keeps increasing because the place is developing. Certainly, if you go there today, people will still tell you that we need more water. And that makes sense because all things being equal, it is important for everybody to just get up, you open your door and you go and open the tap and you have water. But for a member of parliament to get up and say that if you go to that place, even I drink pure water, that exaggeration is not good for the image of the place in the first place.
But he's speaking the truth. He doesn't have pipe flowing water
to the community. It cannot be the truth.
So he drinks
I'm saying it cannot be the truth. I don't know the type of PR he's doing to be able to get people. Maybe he just wants to make a mountain out of a molehill to be able to say something. Probably somebody is hiding somewhere that he wants the fellow child. I don't have a problem with that. But I can tell you that the issue of water, if it comes to my constituency, for example, and when you go there today and you ask of the water sector what Solomon Boar did when he was the member of parliament, not even in government, even in opposition, they will tell you that indeed he really changed the narrative when it comes to the issue of water. But certainly, Nankpanduri is as big or as large as Bumprugu. It will be very important for us to get the same water system that we can find in Bumprugu, so that it can save the people. And that's one of the things, that was one of my dreams. I wish him well. I am not a selfish politician. I want to see how he can really address that concern, because he should be able to do it. He should be able to make sure that there is a water system in Panduri. Because the work of a member of parliament is to do your lobbying skills. You have to enhance your lobbying skills to make sure that such things get done.
Don't you have a river that you can treat for the people to drink?
No, I must say that there was even one borehole that I mechanized, that I drilled in Nankpanduri Township, and when they checked the water table, 160 liters per minute that the borehole can produce. So as part of my initiative, if I had retained the seat, one of the things I really wanted to do was to talk to the government of the day to come and take a serious look at it and see how they could use that one, just as we did in the case of Bumprugu, to be able to make sure that they pipe the whole of the town, because that borehole alone is enough to save Nankpanduri and beyond. And that is not the only borehole that is even high yielding. The water table is so high.
Finally, on the issues of developing your area.
Yes.
When I went to your region, you had checkpoints in Nankpanduri and other areas because of conflict. Have those checkpoints left?
Oh, that is history now. You realize that.
So there are no curfews?
No. By the great, well, I will say that on paper, I have to cross-check, but on paper, you hear once in a while, you hear the interior minister would say that they have extended curfew hours in Bumprugu from this and this to do. But it's just on paper. But it's not history. You realize that for the past 4 years, especially or more, the issue of conflicts has become a thing of the past, because the people smoked peace pipe and they realized that no.
You've been hearing Chokosies and Anofos and Kunkumbes and all of that always coming up.
Yes, in the news. You are talking of the Kunkumba Chekwesi conflict. Before I left, I know very well that we had really worked on it up to a point, and they even came together and smoked peace pipe and did what we call blood burial. Okay. Recently, I heard that there was some intra conflict between the Chekwesies, but that is a house matter which they are going to. I want to believe that the current regional minister, I know he's capable of making sure that he teams up with the chiefs for them to arrest that. And
you trust your successor that he will do the job?
He's very capable of doing that. I dock my hat for him.
Do you trust your MP successor as well as you trust your regional minister successor?
In fact, to be honest with you, I'm yet to see that in him.
Your MP successor?
Yes, the current MP.
Because he's NDC?
Not necessarily that he's an NDC person. I've never seen him in his working life. I've not seen him gotten involved in any developmental challenges in the area. Okay. So if it's something that is in him, we're yet to see it. Very well. So that one I have to be very honest with you.
Very well. This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamado. Honorable Solomon Boar is my guest. He's a former MP for Bumprugu. and former regional minister for the Northeast region. We'll come back and ask why the NPP did not do as well as it hoped in that region. He himself lost his seat, and so did they lose other seats, including the one that was occupied by the local government minister. What went wrong, and how can they fix that? Stay with us.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
You're welcome back to Face to Face. This is City TV. My name is Umaru Sandam. Honorable Solomon Boar was Minister for Northeast and also Member of Parliament for Bunkpurugu. Let's talk first of all about your poor performance in Parliament as NPP. Everything went wrong for you. You almost lost the House, and you may actually lose it if the courts decide in favor of the NDC based on their calculations. What went wrong?
That's a very important question to ask. I think that one of, judging from what happened in Northeast, is very obvious that if it were so in the other regions, then it is, I can say that one of the major reasons that really affected the NPP was more or less internal. We inflicted wounds on ourselves as a political party. And for me, I have, as somebody who led my constituency for 2 consecutive times, I won the seat twice in opposition. 2013, 2012 and 2016. Then as regional minister, I couldn't make it the 3rd time. I must say that the party has really grown in the area over time. Even though the seats used to be that of NDC, that was not the reason why we lost the election. My opponent didn't win. We lost it to him. He didn't win the election. We lost it to him. We lost it to him because of what I believe was purely internal.
Where internal could
internal
mean?
Judging from primaries. When we finished the primaries, a very short period, the number of months left for us to really put ourselves together, the fact that we were almost entering the campaign season was one of the things. But
it means the loser did not support the winner. You did not support.
I had three of my friends or younger brothers who contested me in the primaries. And you know, at that level, people really find it very difficult to appreciate that when you go for elections internally and you are not able to make it, the best way for you to be counted tomorrow so that you can keep your dream alive is not to work against anybody. I'm not accusing anybody, but it's out there that probably, maybe those who contested me meant well, I can't tell, but their supporters didn't mean well, I can't tell. But I want to believe that it was one of the things that we, and as a leader, when you go for a major election and things didn't turn out properly, you don't have to begin to point accusing fingers. All you need to do is to just sit back and do some reflection and find out what is it that, so that you can carry everybody along. So I'm not here as a former member of parliament to begin to say somebody did this, somebody did this, somebody did that. What is important is I've learned a lot of lessons from the just ended election. And somebody who presided as the regional minister, and for that matter, chairman of Rexec, who was in Alergo, where the then local government ministers also contested and couldn't make it. Purely, there was also we had internal issues, and we also had this issue of
the siting of the regional capital
that was between Alergo and Gambaga, and it was one of the thorny issues, I will say it without let or hindrance. It also affected the
So Gambaga people didn't vote for Halima Mahama?
Well, Gambaga people didn't vote, but we didn't also do well in Alargo as well. So that's why I'm saying it was both internal and that of the regional creation.
At your side, did you support your winning candidate?
My winning candidate?
Yes, in your constituency.
Who is my winning candidate?
Okay, so those who lost against you did not support you entirely. That's your fear?
That is the feeling.
That's your feeling?
That's the feeling.
Did you reach out to them?
Well, I did my best, because immediately after the election, we had the opportunity to sit together as a house, let them understand that it is over. There's no time on our side where we have to be meeting all the time and talking about, let's patch our difference. What differences exist in an internal election?
There shouldn't be one.
Yes. Once you go for an election and somebody makes it, the other people don't make it, all you need to do is to just immediately soak yourself into it, forget of the past, and we move on. Okay, so
but if they feel that the regional minister used the power of the state to bamboozle his way through, they will not.
Interestingly, on the day of the primaries, not even a single security personnel got to any of the polling stations, even though it was done at the electoral area level. Not even a single person. I don't believe in that, because for me, I believe in getting closer to the people and let them understand the need for us to sustain the many and varied developmental projects that His Excellency the President has started. I can tell you that we, with much respect that I want to give to the past presidents that really run this country, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, what he has done in my constituency since 1992, nobody has ever done that. If I tell you, if you go to Bumbruku Township now, the township roads alone, 42 million Ghana cedi road construction, putting the district capital together and giving it the needed facelift, is currently under construction and will finish by the close of this year too. Without the major road that I even talked of. And it was all over the region. You go to Sheponi, the same thing. You go to Walawali, the same thing. The roads have been tarred now. Gambaga, the roads have been tarred. The township roads. Nalergu, the roads have been tarred. They have their water. Everything is but some of these little things, when it gets to elections, it's a different ballgame.
The figures show that you as a person was the one who won the seat for the MPP in Bunkpuru, not necessarily the party. And that's based on the figures. Would you want to go back and give it another shot?
Umar Usanda, what is important now is for us to remain citizens and continue to support His Excellency the President to deliver on his mandate wherever one finds himself.
We have been told that MPs who lose their seats will not be reappointed to their ministries, which, well, there's a new regional minister for your region, so clearly you're not going back to the region. But have you been told whether you'll be occupying a position?
Umar Usanda, what is important now is just what I said earlier on, that we want the president to stay focused and make sure that the major policy initiatives that he has brought out for this country to move to the next level is done. If the president decides in his own wisdom that these are the people that I want to move with, you those who are left doesn't necessarily mean that the president has forgotten about you. So for me, what is important is that the party is in power. I believe in the ideology of the MPP, and we are moving on in the right direction. The party will certainly move beyond 2024, because this issue of...
You think you win 2024?
Oh, by the grace of the Almighty God, it will come to pass, because you see, if you look at what is happening in this country today, apart from this system upgrade that people say is doomed, so which we are very sure that by the close of the year, it will see, and we will see an end to it. This COVID that has really brought untold hardship onto the world, not Ghana alone, where our opponents are out there and behaving as if His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, if we hadn't gotten him as the president, what would have happened to our lives alone? People have forgotten it. Because this is the only president, or this is one of the presidents that the whole world, they are touting about the many and varied proactive steps that he has taken to keep all of us alive. People are not seeing it as a big asset. They are just interested in the fact that, hey, look at the country's debt, look at the country's debt, look at this, look at that. You won't look at the number of people who are alive. And that is the ungrateful nature of some individuals, that instead of them, when they get the right platform, instead of them to speak the truth, they won't just even open their mouth to say, His Excellency the President has done well in this. All they want to do is to just keep lambasting him, I take exception to that. And I think that is very unfair to the government of the day, it's very unfair to the President, and we must all give the President the needed support, because we have one country, we have one President today, whether you like it or not. His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo is the President of Ghana today, and from now up to 2024.
2025, January 7.
In fact, yes, January 7th, 2025, we have him in the driving seat.
You don't have a candidate for 2024. Do you have one? Will you run for president?
I'm not part of that.
You are not part.
But
But you support someone.
I will support any person that the party gives us.
You have someone from your region. People are saying that the Wale economist should be the one who should run. There are people who are mentioning Alan Chamantin. Have you made up your mind yet?
I've not heard His Excellency the Vice President come out openly to say that, yes, I am running. But when we get there and he comes out, you hear from some of us.
Will you support him?
To be honest with you, he's one of the finest gentlemen that we have in this country. And if he comes out and the people, the MPP decides that, no, this is the person that we want to go out with, everybody must come out support, because he has shown the needed competence. Okay. He's not the only person. But as we speak today, the time hasn't come. So we should just stay focused. Because if you get the right candidate in 2024, and His Excellency the President has not performed from now up to 2024,
it will come to
very
naught.
peculiar for all of us.
Okay.
So I want to crave the indulgence of every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and all those who really desire to lead this country, that they should hold their fire, just stay focused, help the President to deliver, and when we get there, then you hear from all of us.
Honorable Solomon, thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
That's the former MP for Bonkurugu and former Northeast Regional Minister. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. Thank you for watching Face to Face. Stay with City TV. It's your world.